Nathan Zegura, Browns radio analyst on their network. The possibility of the Browns trading for a wide receiver.
I think what the Buffalo Bills did yesterday is going to make it a heck of a lot harder to trade for a wide receiver than it was before they did that. Now, maybe from kind of the talk around the league that everybody thought that was an incredibly rich compensation package that they gave up to get DJ Moore, a second-round pick for a guy who hasn't had 1,000 yards in 3 of his last 4 seasons, and is being paid a lot. And then they guaranteed some of his money into 2028. So if you are the Philadelphia Eagles with A.J. Brown, you're saying if that's what DJ Moore got, I'm going to need a lot more than that. So I think that could make this a lot harder. And then in the case of Marvin Harrison, has he produced at the level anybody expected? No, but he's still on a rookie contract for 2 years, potentially 3, if you look at, obviously the 50-year option. Marvin Harrison Jr. was highly regarded coming out. It hasn't worked out. You'd have to dive into why that is, but I think that they're going to want even more compensation than a DJ Moore. This is in their mind. Obviously, you'd say, well, listen, it hasn't worked out here, but we know his talent, an ascending player. So I think that Bills trade and a little bit of the desperation they put in that might make it harder for some of these wide receiver deals to get done of the guys that you would think you could bring in that could fundamentally change your offense.
Casey, I didn't even think of that. I think he's absolutely right when I heard that, though.
Yeah, the Bills definitely paid a hefty price. No, that's a trade I can see working out for both teams. It clears the way for Burden and Odunze and Loveland to get shares in Chicago, but they needed something like that to happen in Buffalo. I don't know. There's 48 days between now and the NFL draft. I think a lot of things can unfold. And if some of these guys don't get moved for higher prices, if Monte Alstonfort's waiting for a better deal and he doesn't get something that comes across his board that's a better deal than 39, I can still see him pulling the trigger. I just think it'll take later. I think it'll be later down the line. But it definitely muddies the water early, But we'll have to wait till the smoke clears and you start to see, what are the Colts going to do with Michael Pittman? There's a couple players out there that I'd be highly interested in, but it just depends on that asking price and who are you battling with to get that. That's what it all comes down to. But Andrew Berry's going to trade for a wide receiver. That's going to happen. I just think it's going to be a little further down the line than the start of free agency.